Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we don't always talk about books, but we always go beyond. Today, we're going to do three things. We're going to plant three things. The first are some microgreens. We're going to plant them in my Aerogardens. All of these three things we planted in Aerogardens. And what I'm going to plant is broccoli. This will grow as a microgreen. So in about a week, it will look just like the package, just nice and thick with little broccoli stems that can be cut and then put into salads, soups, sandwiches, give a mild broccoli taste. These are very healthy, obviously. You're eating the very first stem that comes off the seed, and so it has a lot of nutrients really for the plant to grow. But of course, when you consume it, you're getting all those nutrients yourself. And these are also known to have cancer fighting properties. So that is good for me. So yeah, we're going to plant those. We're also going to plant in another Aerogarden some heirloom salad greens. Now, these are seeds that are in the pods that go more traditionally into the garden than what the microgreens do. They're in these type of pods that drop down in the water, and the seeds are hopefully in these sponges. We don't know that for sure, but we're hoping. I usually get pretty good germination on them, and if you don't, you can actually call the Aerogarden company, and apparently they'll send you a replacement. I usually don't even bother doing that. I'll sometimes get some lettuce seeds, maybe from Ace Hardware or something like that, and just drop a couple down there, and they'll grow just as well. You got a little hole at the top of the sponge. You got a hole in the whole pod thing here, but there's a hole in the sponge specifically that you can put your seed into. So we're going to do that. One more thing. We are going to plant some more of these. Wow, something was stuck on the bottom of that. We're going to plant some more of these cascading petunias. I had these last year. In fact, I just threw away the last one. They were outside all summer. They're only supposed to grow in weather as hot as 80 degrees, but they grew apparently in weather a whole heck of a lot hotter than that because they grew all summer here. And like I said, I just threw away the last one, just got too dry and wilty probably from the heat mostly. But I had these plants for a year. And they were beautiful. First, they grew beautifully in the Aerogarden, and then they grew really just as well outside. So I'm going to aim the camera a little bit differently so you can see what I'm doing, and we're going to get right to it. So now this is the Aerogarden that we're going to put the microgreens in. So I don't know if you can really see it, but it says fill to here on this little floater. And so this will pick up how much water is in it, and it'll tell us when it needs water. It's really not going to need water with microgreens in it because they aren't going to really use that much water, because we're not going to allow them to grow really for that long or that large to really be soaking up a lot of water. This is the pump, and for about 5 minutes every hour, this pump will pump some of the water that we'll have in here up onto this tray through this little funnel that goes into it. And it will wet these trays, which will have our growth medium. It's kind of like a cottony material. And that'll have our seeds on it. It'll keep them soaked until they drain, and an hour later, the water will come up and do the same thing again. That's how these are set. There are fancier models where you can set the pump for different times and things like that, you know, depending what you're growing. But in these little small ones, you really can't grow a whole lot. Although, again, I've had some really good results. You can check out some of my other videos, and I think you'd be surprised at what has grown in here. So I'm going to get that set up, and I'll get you back here to see how that all looks. I'll show you how I'm going to spread the seeds on here. I'm just going to shake out some. Not going to put too much because if they're too close together, they stay way too wet and the water sits in the little plants and can cause mold and just, yeah, not really ideal. So we're going to leave some space in between our seeds here. So I don't know if you can really see how I have them, but you might be able to see this side a little bit better. And once this is wet, we can kind of maybe spread them a little more evenly and stuff. You know, you really don't have to worry about that so much, about them being even. They'll grow surprisingly well. At least that's been my experience. So hopefully this will, you know, be a good garden. See, like we got too much clumping here, so just kind of move those around just a little bit. There we go. All right, I'm gonna get this all plugged in, and I'll show you what that looks like when we're done. Okay, somebody came to see if there were any treats available when she heard my intro. So, yep, here we are. Okay, here you go, Raina. If you don't know Raina, she's the co-host, and she gets treats during the video, so she will come and ask for sure. Sit, baby. Good girl. Good girl. She's a little bummed today because it's too hot to really go out and do anything, so there you go, girl. All right. Okay, so what I did here, and you can hear the pump running because I just plugged it in and the pump got started. Like I say, it'll stop in a few minutes. Everything will drain. It'll come back on in another hour. But yeah, this is how the seed ended up looking. I could perhaps spread a tiny bit more on the right side, but you know, sometimes less is more on these things. And one of the things that you have to do with microgreens is you have to put the top light all the way up. So I'm going to take the top shelf off of this rack in order to really do that effectively. But for some reason, that really helps the growth. And then as it's getting started as well, these little covers keep in a little bit of humidity and, you know, just kind of help everything get started and grow. Get this the right way on here. Not easy to do with one hand. Or maybe it's me. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'll get this together and show you when it's done. Okay, that's better. Had my trays in kind of backwards. But anyway, you get the idea. There we go. So let's get on to our lettuce. Okay, so on to our salad greens. These are going to go into an Aerogarden that is the exact same thing as the one we just worked with. I've got water here filled up to my fill line. And now for this one, because we're planting seeds that we're going to allow to go to a full plant, we're going to use some plant food. This comes with Aerogarden, but I also will buy some usually additionally separately because I keep my plants as long as what I can and I grow quite a lot, so I usually need a little bit of extra. This is an off-brand. It's not the Aerogarden brand, but works perfectly. Exact same thing, you know, just available on Amazon. So there we go. I'm going to put in my plant food and make sure everything's mixed in. It'll all mix in with the pump once the pump gets going in anyway. But now you'll notice that the top of this is quite a bit different than the one that I planted the microgreens in. I'm noticing, whoops, that this needs to be snapped together. So we'll do that. There we go. So we're going to put that in there. And now you'll see that I have actually 6 holes here. I'm not going to use all of those because 6 heads of lettuce on here, it's not going to work. 1 or 2 or more will get crunched out and not grow very well. I'm thinking that the maximum I can grow on here are 3. And even at that, I should probably be prepared to take one of my lettuces and maybe put it in with my cascading petunias for a time. That's why you end up, when you buy one Aerogarden, you end up needing, 4 Aerogardens. Is because when the plants get larger, they need the space. Nobody really tells you that part. But anyway, these just, and I can see the seed in there, so this one should be a good one. These just simply drop in. Now, for some reason, this one has lost its little circle, and I may need to put some tape or something over that. But I know it is lettuce. It's in the lettuce box here, or salad greens, whatever they call them. So I'm going to put 3 and keep these other pods covered with these black little covers. These don't come with an Aerogarden. These have to be ordered separately. Some people use black electrical tape over these holes, or a golf ball, or all kinds of things. Whatever will work. But these are convenient, so they're pretty nice to have. And now these little plastic covers also come with your seed kit. With every Aerogarden, you get a seed kit. This is a 6-pod, so it goes with a 6-pod garden. Although, like I say, not really advisable to plant them all at once unless you're prepared to move some of the plants. But there you go. It'll stay like that. The pump just will move the water. It doesn't come up on the deck the way that it does with the microgreen one. It doesn't come up on the deck at all, but it does wet those sponges that are down in there, and in turn wets the seed and gets that to start to germinate. The light will still be up on the top, although not as high until we need to raise it because the plants are growing. It'll stay fairly low, and it'll be able to give the seeds enough light to get themselves moving. So I'm going to put this aside for a moment and get everything I need for the cascading petunias, and that'll be the last planting that we'll do on this video. Okay, so finally we are going to do our cascading petunias. These are going into a larger Aerogarden. This is a 9-pod model. The reservoir holds probably twice as much as the other ones that I showed you, the 6-pod models. This one is a little bit different. The pump is contained kind of in the top part. It just is made differently. It's got a little bit of a different way that it indicates that it's full, but anyway, it's basically works the same concept, So we've got this full. Let's see how much we put into a 9-pod of our plant food here. 15 milliliters. So let's measure that out. We'll make sure we get that in there, as we're letting this also, of course, go all the way to flowering. So it's going to need some nutrition. We also are going to put nutrition in every 2 weeks. We renew the nutrition. There's a little reminder light that'll go on and tell us that it's time to do that. So let's get that in there. Now, even though this is a large garden, these are large flowers. So I'm not going to get too greedy here. I think I'm going to put in use 3 pods. And we're going to keep them spaced out. So I'm going to use one way over here. Doesn't really matter much at first because you can move them around. And then one over here. Same thing. We cover with a little clear top until the plant grows big enough to touch the edges of it. And then we can take this little topper off. Any pods that we are not using, we need to cover with our little black covers here. I had to wash some of them. As you can see, I have some hard water stains. I could take some of that out with some vinegar and stuff, but it's a little bit of work, so we'll worry about that another time. It's really not bad. And you won't even notice it once the plant starts covering the deck. These will, we'll have obvious germination in probably just a few days, and definitely be able to uncover within 2 weeks, and then they'll just start growing. And yeah, we'll definitely need to move at least one of these. I got to a point the last time where I only had one petunia plant in this large Aerogarden. So, all right, one final thing. I'll show you what they look like all set up with the lights on and stuff. And that'll conclude the video. So, hold on. So here we are. Here's the petunias. We put in 3. This is in the larger Aerogarden. Up above it, with the light all the way to the top, I have my microgreens. And over on the opposite side of the room, my other 6-pod Aerogarden with 3 lettuces. I covered that one that didn't have a label on it with some black electrical tape. Can't allow light to get in as much as what you possibly can, because it can make algae. It just doesn't look great on your lettuce, obviously. I also here have, these are also Aerogarden products, little plant lights, and I have 2 African violets that have been growing pretty well. They've got some great buds on them right now. When those all open up, they're going to be really pretty, and I think it's going to do that soon. Here at this one. Yeah. Don't look good, and the color is really pretty on them. So, yeah. All right. So, everyone, thank you for coming along. It's been a minute, as they say, since I've done anything with my Aerogardens and really worked with plants at all, partly due to the heat, but I did have to have surgery, a couple of surgeries in May and June, and yeah, that can set you back just a little bit. So it really feels good to me to get back into the things that I enjoy doing, and I really like sharing with all of you. So I hope you enjoy it as well. I'm going to put some links in the description box to some of my other videos that contain information about Aerogardens. Seems like people like to take a look at them. So yeah, I hope if you like my content, you'll subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button, give me the thumbs up. I always appreciate a comment. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.